Play ball! Blue 22, hike, hike, hike.
You are watching Sports and Sorts live on YouTube. That's 75% sports, 25% sorts. And here are your hosts, Shane and the Bry Man.
Yeah, we're back. I think we're back. We are?
Yeah.
Yes, we're back. We're live.
Do you ever notice how the stock voice there who introduces us, she's very nasally.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, she's nasally.
It's all right. You got to have that nasalness.
Shane in the Man.
She's just, it's allergy season.
Yeah, I guess. That's it.
So we are going to be getting into this past week, NFL Week 7. We're going to be get into what had happened was we're going to get into a little thing that we like to do. I still don't have it recorded. I have to play it off YouTube, which is annoying. But we're going to get into what we've learned from this week. And
I learned a couple things.
The Clint had come out and said, Bills rule. He's still watching. He's on an airplane, or he's getting ready to be on an airplane, or he's flying an airplane. I don't know what he's doing, but he is watching us somewhere, maybe in the air. That's amazing. Maybe he's taking a balloon ride. Who knows? Who knows what he's doing? But he's watching, and we are thankful to him. He's on the tarmac. Wow! Thank you for watching. So we are going to talk about what we've learned this past week, and the Bills are my team versus your team, the Finns. The Dolphins happened this week. It's a rivalry. It's been going on for a long time. I wouldn't say it's a great rivalry right now. I mean, it hasn't been a great rivalry for a while because neither team has been. Each of them haven't been good for a while together at the same time. So they haven't really had the chance to have that head-to-head, making it something that is fun to watch. Yeah, that's fun. The Bills come off a bye. I thought they were going to be a little unprepared going into the week because they said they never really seemed all that greatly prepared coming out of bye weeks. And it seems like a lot of teams have a hard time knocking off the rust coming out of bye weeks. So I was like, I'm expecting that the Dolphins are going to probably take it to the Bills at the beginning of the game. Now, I wasn't expecting the Finns to be able to move the ball down the field as well as they did against our defense. But they did, and that was part of the Fitz magic. But Clint had sent me a message on Facebook, and he was like, "Oh my gosh!" He's like, "How are they moving the ball so fast down the field against us?" He's like, "I guess this is a trap game." I kind of, I can see how he'd be a little worried. I was like, you know what? They're coming out of bye week. They're going to be. This is going to be tough. They're going to take a little while to get into gear. Fitzmagic is going to end up throwing some picks. He's going to make some mistakes. He always does. We'll see how it turns out.
Listen, the Dolphins regress to the mean very, very quickly. Yeah. You don't have to worry about it. I know. I was even texting my brother.
He mentioned that Josh Allen isn't more of a second half quarterback, and he is. He does better in the second half.
So it was like 14-9, and the Dolphins were looking like actual human beings and playing like an actual NFL team. Yeah. I texted my brother and I said, "What are they doing?" And he's like, "Oh, what's going on?" He's like, "I'm in Rochester right now." He was, I think, my nephew was playing hockey, so he wasn't. And actually, because he was in Rochester, so he's up in New York, and the game was blacked out, so he couldn't actually watch it on his phone. He couldn't watch it on his phone. He was watching. I think he was keeping an eye on some other games, but he had no idea what was going on in the Dolphin game. And I'm like, they look like a normal team. I'm like, what are they doing? They better get right back on track and start losing immediately. Cannot have anything here. So let me tell you, so that does there are a couple of things I learned this week. Thing number one is, as bad as the Dolphins are, and they are bad, there's a couple of things that concern me. One, they are improving. Week by week, they are actually getting better, which is, that makes sense. You wouldn't actually want them to even get worse because that would really speak poorly for the coaching staff. But my point is, they're getting better to the point where I'm starting to get concerned that they might win a couple of games this year. Because if they could ever put together a full game like they did yesterday in the first half, if they put together again, like they could have beaten the Bills yesterday. And thank God they just, they went back to normal. I tell you, I know the Dolphins are trying to tank. I mean, we all know that, and I'm pretty sure that the coaching staff is mostly in on it. But to what extent, I really wonder, like, are they, like, I almost wonder if they're holding back in some instances, like, where they say, like, okay, we're making this actually a little too close for comfort, and we need to actually rein ourselves. But, like, I wonder how corrupt it really is, I mean, I think it's corrupt from the Chris Greer, who is the general manager perspective, and from the Stephen Ross, the owner perspective. I think they're completely 100% in on it. I think Brian Flores is as difficult a pill as that probably was for him to swallow as a competitive coach. I think he's obviously in on it. But I also wonder, though, like, are they going to be able to hide it? And this is the first thing I learned. Are they going to be able to hide it against the Cincinnati Bengals, who they actually have to play on December 22nd in Miami in what will absolutely be Tank Bowl 2. Tank Bowl 1 was against the Redskins, which the Dolphins won by losing. But what's going to happen when they have to play the Bengals? And here's what I learned. The Bengals are horrible. That's a bad.
AJ Green might be back by then, though.
I'm not even. You know what? I don't even know if that's enough. That team is. No, he will be. He will be back by then. By the way, that team is abhorrent. They are awful. I watched them yesterday. Now, actually, they were up going into the fourth quarter. They were up, I think, 7-6. And then the wheels just came completely off the wagon against a Jacksonville team. Listen, no offense to Jacksonville, but I mean, come on, Gardner Minshew, DJ Chark.
Fun.
I mean, I love Gardner Minshew. Who doesn't? I mean, Leonard Fournette is actually playing really well this year, and that's because he's finally healthy for once.
Yeah.
And maybe that's another thing I learned is that when that guy's healthy, he can really be a beast. But the primary thing I learned is that the Bengals might be worse than the Dolphins, and that scares me because let's be honest, what's going to be their biggest need? If they had the number 1 pick, who are they taking? Tua. They're taking Tua. And
a lot of needs though.
They do, but there's no doubt that they're taking Tua. I mean, there's no doubt. Andy Dalton's done. He's toast. That guy is buttered toast. He is out. There's no doubt about it. That guy is, and they're going to keep playing him because they know he's their best chance to keep losing as well.
Well, they have a terrible offensive line, so they just get hit all the time.
You know what bothers me too a little bit, and the national media stuff about the Dolphins tanking has died down because I think they're also looking around the league and the national media saying, "Holy crap! There's 2 winless teams, and there's a bunch of teams that still only have 1 win." Yeah. So the Dolphins may be bad, and maybe they are tanking, but there's a lot of other teams that are just as horrible. So, that's thing number 1 that I learned. Before I go into thing number 2 that I learned, do you want to interject with a thing that you learned, or would you just like me to hop into thing number 2 that I learned?
How about this? I have continued to learn that Dak Prescott is still not a great quarterback.
Trash.
Trash, yeah.
Trash, straight trash.
Yeah, he's
even though they won huge last night.
Yeah, they won huge, but it's the way that their defense won them that game. They were all over Carson Wentz. Like, I felt bad. He went off the field limping on multiple occasions. They could not get to Dak. They have Ezekiel Elliott. Amari Cooper was playing.
Zeke looked good last night.
I mean, it was just everything in general.
He's back. He's back to form.
And this is a defensive line that is, I think they were number 1 in the league in run defense, and that's the Eagles. But you had everybody healthy for the Cowboys kind of on their defensive line, and they were just beating on Carson Wentz, and he just could not get free. He was having a hard time finding 2-3 seconds in the pocket to be able to make a throw, let alone to be able to step up in the pocket and make a throw or move out of the pocket and make a throw. He was scrambling up for his life out there, and I felt so bad because this is a guy who just needs you just need to give him a little bit of time and weapons, and he will march you down the field and score points. But he just had nothing. I mean, I felt terrible for him. They were on top of him within a half a second.
They need a receiver so bad.
Oh my God. And not somebody slow like Alshon Jeffrey who can jump and he's tall. He's a big guy, but they need a legit receiver. And when
Jackson comes back,
Deshaun Jackson comes back, that's going to be a good weapon. But the problem is When's the last time he's played
You know
8
what,
straight
though?
games?
Here's the other thing too with Deshaun Jackson. It's not like that's not even a long-term solution for them. Like
No.
they need to. You know what? AJ Green would be a really good fit. I think there.
Oh, gosh,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what that would cost. I don't know what I think the cost actually would only be a second rounder, to be honest, because you can't demand a first rounder for AJ Green, not coming off an injury like this, and also not at his age.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, but if you're the Eagles and you are trying to right the ship this year, because that to me is I mean, despite what I saw yesterday, if the Eagles put it together, that's a Super Bowl contending team.
It is. It really is.
So you got to go for it. But you're right. He just the weapons are not there, and he did not. I don't know what he was doing last night. I mean, Zach Ertz was either not open or he just wasn't going there. Dallas Goedert had a nice game, and he caught that touchdown, which was kind of a nice catch.
Speaking of tight ends, your tight end was it Getsek?
Oh, Mike Gesicki.
Yeah, Gesicki.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't wait for Tua to be throwing to him, man.
Oh man, he's a freaking legit beast, huh?
Nah, he is. You know what? It took last year. Everyone thought he was a bust because they picked him early. He was their second round pick out of Penn State, and they picked him early, and they thought that he was a bust. But the bottom line is Adam Gase just doesn't know how to run an offense. Adam Gase is a quarterback whisperer, although I'm still yet to see a lot of evidence of that either. I think it's easy to whisper to a quarterback when the guy you primarily whispered to was Peyton Manning. And yes, he did help Cutler, but let's be honest, Jay Cutler still his best year was like a 21 touchdown. It wasn't like an astronomical 40 touchdown campaign or something like that. But look, you know, Adam Gase runs a very pedestrian offense with the Jets, and he ran an even more pedestrian one with the Dolphins. And I don't think that coaching staff knew how to use him. And now this coaching staff is like, wait a minute. I mean, this guy's not a great pass blocking tight end, but man, he's got hands and he can go up and catch it. And he had an unbelievable catch negated by a penalty, which you may have seen. A 29-yarder that was negated by a penalty. So he would have actually had like 70 yards receiving in that game. It would have been 5 for 70. It was 4 for 41, but he would have had 5 for 70, and that 29-yarder was ridiculous. You know, the dude could play. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And when Tua is throwing to him next year, or hopefully Tua, God help me if it's Justin Herbert, I'll throw myself out a window. But if it's Tua or even Joe Burrow, I mean, as long as somebody with a legit NFL arm is throwing to that guy, and Fitzpatrick isn't bad. I shouldn't pounce on Ryan.
He's a good backup.
He's a good backup, right? He's your backup. Although he was he did actually enter the 30,000-yard passing club yesterday, which is quite a feat. There's still only like 40 some odd guys who have ever done it. He's one of them. I think he was the 46th guy to enter the 30,000-yard passing club, and he's also thrown to like 50 something receivers or maybe more or something. He's thrown to like a ridiculous amount of guys in his career. But that's what happens when you're on like 8 teams. But Gesicki is the real deal, and I'm very excited to see what happens with him next year.
He was impressive. I was like, wow, he's like a legit tight end. Like next year he's gonna be tight end 1 for sure.
A very good possibility. I'll tell you what, if you have a fantasy league where you could draft him as a keeper and stash him, or like a dynasty league,
even Parker had a decent game too.
I mean, Parker looked good yesterday too. There were some promising things for the Dolphins, especially in that first half. Actually, I even texted my brother on the touchdown that Parker caught. I was very impressed with the design of that play and the way it played out. Mm-hmm. It looked, again, there were times yesterday where they looked like a legitimate NFL team. And I felt, you know what, like, if you're a Dolphin fan, yesterday was ideal because there were a lot of nuggets that you could take from it, but ultimately you still got what you needed, which was the loss. Yeah. But there were a lot of positives to take from that game. As I'm starting to find out, there are a handful of guys on this Dolphins roster that will be good. Some of them will be contributors. Some of them will be possible cornerstone pieces for them. I mean, Xavier Howard is an all-pro cornerback, so you know he's your best player, period. But I still think there's some gems here that the Dolphins will have, and there's some on offense too that I'm a little pleasantly surprised about. Walton, the running back, actually played pretty well yesterday. He had some nice runs, and that was against a very, very good Bills defense. So I was very happy with them.
We just need another receiver, like a legit receiver.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, tandem with Brown.
I think
I like Brown. Brown's good. He's a good wide receiver, but he's not a number 1.
Yeah. And you're without Zay Jones, right? Did he lose? Is he gone for the year? Zay Jones.
Who cares? He's
Oh,
terrible.
did he get traded? No, he got traded.
Yeah, he can't
Got
catch a
traded to
cold.
the Raiders, right, or something?
Yeah, he can't catch a cold. He's
Yeah,
horrible.
so I get right.
I mean,
They loved him enough to trade him. So
they have an issue on their hands that they need a stud wide receiver. And if they can get that, they're probably in okay shape. I mean, yeah, they're going to be still looking for that guy to be the running back. But as of right now,
I would say
Singletary is decent. He's got the chance to be there and
I
be
was
good,
pissed because it didn't cost me the game, but I played Singletary yesterday in one of my fantasy
they
leagues.
didn't use him.
They didn't go near him. Yeah. I love Frank Gore, like the player and the human being, but man, oh man, he is a detriment to anybody that you have fantasy wise.
Yeah,
he did that to Kenyon Drake last year, and he did it to Devin Singletary yesterday, and he will continue to do that to Devin Singletary. And you know why? Because he's still good.
Yeah,
That's
he's good enough.
Problem.
He's not going to get you 130 yards with 3 touchdowns.
No, but he's going
to get you 75 yards. He's going to move the ball about 4 yards a carry.
I'm never going to say anything bad about the guy because he's such a great person, and he's a future Hall of Famer. And I hate actually that I'm so mad at the Dolphins because he wanted. First of all, he's from Miami, right? Mm-hmm. So he went to the U. He wanted to come back to the Dolphins. He really did, and they didn't want him. And he was really mad at them, not only because he wanted to come back, but because he actually wanted to be a coach for them.
Wow.
And I think he was really upset with the way they handled him. And I don't know if that was Greer or Flores. I can't imagine Brian Flores wouldn't have wanted him. But maybe they were just like, well, you know what? If we have him, it's going to be hard not to play him, and all he'll do is kind of stunt the growth of some of these younger guys who we're trying to get a feel for, like Patrick Laird.
You got to think that Frank Gore would know that if he wants to get into coaching.
Yeah, of course he would know that.
Like,
I wish they had brought him back. I wish they had brought him back because they still could have played him in a minimal role. Brought him back, and then he could have easily transitioned next year. Maybe he still will. Maybe they'll say, "Listen, we're sorry about it," but I don't know. But
yeah, so there's a couple other things, a few other things that.
There is one other thing I learned too. But yes.
I want to mention that there's 2 things that I learned. One was Aaron Rodgers is a freaking beast. Love that guy. He came on and he
man.
Torched them. He was just like, nope, you guys aren't that good, and I'm going to show you how good you are. What, he had like 6 touchdowns yesterday? Did he have 5 throwing and 1 running? I mean, it was a ridiculous game. I mean, if you had him on fantasy, you made out big time yesterday. And the other thing I learned is,
by the way, in the main league I'm in, I think they sat Rodgers, which was bad because it was close to 50 points, I think.
He had a lot of points. He was a big-time performer yesterday. And this is the thing, is that this year seems to be showing its head more than other. And this is the other thing I've learned. This goes more to fantasy, is, man, you need a backup quarterback in this league nowadays. I mean, you're talking Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes. You're talking Matt Ryan, who just went down. I mean, there are one after another that are just going down. And it is a brutal year for quarterbacks. And I am hoping, Ben Roethlisberger, he's out for the year. Like, those are big time performers. Those are guys that you count on to get you, 20 plus points a week. And they are out. You need a good, solid, and thankfully, you have people like even Kirk, Captain Kirk. He's coming through. He's playing better. But Adam Thielen pulled his hammy.
Thielen.
Hello, Thielen. Hello, in the concrete.
None of that was discernible. That was all.
That's the song. That's pretty much the song. Hello, Thielen. It's Adam Thielen. Laid my head on a pylon made of concrete. That's what I said.
It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
He'd be dead.
Yeah. But not Adam Thielen. So, anywho.
So
that's what I learned. Quarterbacks, holy crap. Make sure that you have a bunch. I actually have a ton now. Like, I have the main money league that I'm in, I have Matt Ryan, who I didn't play yesterday because I was able to pick up Jared Goff because somebody was just, I think rightfully so, got worried about Jared Goff and dropped him because they were like, I can't take this, 9 points a game that he's coming up with, and he's having turnovers. He's not throwing multiple touchdowns a game. I'm just getting rid of him and picking up somebody else. So I have him, I have Baker Mayfield, and Jared Goff. So I have Matt Ryan, and I have 3 guys now, and I have to try and pick the right one. I played Jared Goff yesterday. Thankfully, it worked out for me. He torched the Falcons.
Yeah.
So what else have you learned?
So the one other thing I learned is that I hate the Miami Dolphins. And the reason why is because I watched yesterday.
Yes.
I watched very closely, mind you, the Baltimore Ravens, led by Lamar Jackson, who the Miami Dolphins could have had, go into Seattle and really, really do a number on that Seahawks team, both defensively and offensively. And what I learned is that Lamar Jackson is going to be a really, really good quarterback in this league for a really long time. And you might think, well, maybe not because his legs are going to get him into trouble. No, when this guy runs, he runs intelligently. Uh-huh. He's not going out there and putting himself in position to get hurt. The guy knows exactly what he can do. And he knows also. And I also feel like he's smart enough to know that as he gets older and he loses a step, that he'll have to curtail that. But he does not I don't believe he runs around recklessly. Like when I watch him, it seems like controlled.
Not like Josh Allen?
No, it seems a little more controlled. He really this guy, I think this guy is going to be an incredibly good player for a really long time, and I am very happy to have him as my fantasy quarterback also. He was actually one of my keepers, and he only cost me my 15th pick overall because he was a waiver wire pickup. So it only costs you your last pick. And man, oh man, talk about being worth every penny of that last pick, huh? I mean, he is and he's the other thing that's good about him too is he didn't have a great fantasy game yesterday. He had like 23 points, which is very solid. But keep in mind, he was going against a very good defense on the road in Seattle against the 12th man, and he still delivered a really good fantasy performance using his legs and his arm. I mean, the guy is just so dangerous. And he had, I believe it was his 4th double-triple yesterday? So, in other words, where he throws for at least 100 yards and runs for at least 100 yards. I think he had his 4th yesterday of the year, of this season.
That's impressive.
There's only been like 7 games. The guy is really good. And I'll tell you what, the Ravens, here's the other thing I learned. They're for real. That's a for real team. You go into Seattle against a Seahawks team that's playing really well, and you take care of business there. Yeah, that's a good win, man. I mean, it's not an important win in terms of the division, but it's
you're Gruden again.
But I'll tell you what, man. But it is a very important win though in terms of sending a message to the AFC, and it actually gives me just like just a little twinge of hope that maybe there's another team out there that can push the Patriots. Maybe. Does that also segue nicely into the Monday Night Football prediction?
Sure, why not?
Because we're getting close to wrapping up here, right? So
yeah, let's get into it. Monday Night Football predictions. We have Patriots versus the Football Jets, the New York Football Jets, because the Giants are just terrible.
Trash.
Straight glad, as in trash bags. The Jets are given 9.5 points.
Yes.
Who do you have? 43.5 for the over/under.
Okay, well, look. I mean, the Patriots are going to Patriots are going to win the game. But if I were a betting man, and I am not, I would actually pick the Jets to cover. And I could see the Patriots only winning this game by like 6 or 7,
Gordon's
or maybe
out.
even
Dorset, questionable.
And I feel like the Jets are okay on defense, and I'm still I'm still not convinced that the Patriots have played anybody good yet. I mean, look at their schedule has been garbage. How does a first place team get a schedule like that? By the way,
they played the Bills, and the Bills
the Bills played them tough. Yeah. Came down to the last drive and they turned it over.
Yeah.
But like, can somebody explain that to me? Like, how does anybody get a schedule? How does a first place Super Bowl winning team get a schedule like they got? How is it a first place schedule?
That was almost what I was going to talk about, what we've learned, but we kind of touched on it.
What, that the NFL is corrupt? I mean,
like that how on earth can a team like that,
I don't know,
who just came off a Super Bowl win, and get the easiest schedule going forward? And Nick, you could look at it even ahead of time, being like, oh, but the Giants are the Giants, and they have Eli, and they have no, they have Saquon. No, and Eli was terrible. He's been terrible for years. Like, even if you looked at it before the season started,
it's not no.
Like, yeah, you're going to play Big Ben. No, like, yeah, but like they're coming off like a team that they're just unloaded a bunch of people.
They didn't even make the playoffs last year. The Steelers.
Antonio Brown's gone.
Yeah, no Bell, no Brown. No, they haven't played a good team, and they played. Well, I'm sorry, I should say that the Bills are a good team. That's the Bills' only loss.
5-1,
look what happened in that game. Look what happened in that game. Yeah. They got pushed.
Tough defense.
And they could have lost. If Allen is playing on that last drive. In fact, if Allen's playing on that last drive, I think it's a coin toss because he moves well with his legs.
Yeah.
Maybe to the detriment of himself, his future self, and probably annoys a lot of Bills fans because he is a little more reckless. But still, if he's in that drive on that last drive, you gotta like the Bills' chances there of maybe being able to pull one off. So I'm not convinced yet that now listen, again, the Patriots are going to go in and win tonight. I'm not saying they're not going to win. But I think the Jets cover. I think the Jets actually keep this game relatively close. It's probably one of those games where it feels like it's like I feel like the Patriots will maybe physically dominate and it'll feel like it's like a 20-point game, but it might only be between like 7 and 10, and I can kind of see the Jets like sticking around and keeping it close. So, and I don't think there's gonna be a lot of points, but I like the Jets to at least keep it, beneath the 9.5, yeah, and respectable. So I've got a final score because again, I mean it's hard to hold the Patriots down point wise. So, but I've got a final score of 27-19, Pats on the road against a game Jet team.
Yeah.
But Adam Gase still going to FS up, so, Gase going to Gase. He like booed. These New York coaches, man.
I could try and give you a helping hand here because I was like, I had this feeling Darnold is going to do something special. And I don't know if that's get him
keeping
the
the game close,
or keeping the game close.
Something special.
Yeah, like late. Yeah. Because
I think that's
and the main thing is if Burkhead doesn't play, and I don't remember if he is or not. I know he was questionable as of a couple days ago. Dorsett questionable. Then they're left with Edelman, and that's like it.
Isn't that enough?
I don't know.
Hasn't it always been enough?
Not really, because they've always had Gronk, or they've always had that Josh Gordon on the outside, or they have somebody else.
I've never understood opposing defenses not covering Julian Edelman. Why? Why don't you cover him with two people? Yeah. Take him out.
Tom Brady is that good.
But take him out of the equation. Yeah. I've never understood it.
That's what Bill Belichick does.
That's exactly what Bill Belichick does. Yep. And Edelman is, listen, Brady's the best player, but Edelman is
their best offensive weapon.
Yeah.
Outside of Brady. Take
him out. Their running backs aren't particularly great. Sony Michel is fine. He's serviceable. And, and then, they've got Rex Burkhead, although he's out, right?
He might be.
And then James White. James White is good. These are like solid players. These are solid NFL players. But these aren't guys that you necessarily are worried about beating you. Julian Edelman will beat you.
Yeah.
That guy's a Super Bowl monster.
Yeah, the
Jets take him out of the game.
Jets have a better run defense than they do pass defense. Their pass defense is in the bottom third. I think it's like around the 23 rank. Their rush defense is like in the top half, getting close to the top third. And I expect them to keep the game relatively close. The Patriots haven't really like lit up the scoreboard this year. They haven't like absolutely destroyed teams. And when they play teams that are decent, I expect them. I do expect them. I have the same score. I have 27, but I have the Jets finding ways to, because yes, the Patriots have one of the best defenses in the league, but that's because they haven't played anybody. They haven't played anybody great. And do I think the Jets are great? No, but I think with Le'Veon Bell, Sam Darnold, Crowder, Robbie Anderson, you have a lot of good guys on offense that can move the ball. So I do expect it to stay close. I was actually thinking of reversing the score just to give you an opportunity for moving forward. But I have it 27-24 Jets, because if it comes down to a field goal, I do think that I think that the Patriots will win. They always seem to do.
I really wish
to get that done.
I really wish the Jets had. I mean, he's doubtful for tonight. I really wish the Jets had Chris Herndon playing. That would have been another weapon for them. Tight end. Yeah. Finally get him on the field.
Yeah. But it is what it is. What are you do?
That is not going to happen.
They're going to be 6-0. Unfortunately.
Yes, they are going to be 6-0.
Now we're going to pick our games for next week. We have the game that we have to talk about next for this coming Friday is Packers versus Chiefs. That is a game that is going to be Patrick Mahomes-less. And as of right now, the Chiefs are getting 3 points at home versus the Packers. And then other than that, everything else is pretty much wide open.
Okay.
Except for the Monday Night Football game. And I mean, if you wanted to do the Thursday Night Football game, we could potentially do that now, but I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't think it's a Thursday game. It's actually a good one.
So I have my game for you. This one's pretty easy.
Go.
I'm going to give you Eagles at Bills.
Ah, damn it!
On October 27th at 1 p.m. in Orchard Park, baby.
Ah, son of a gun.
That's a big game.
Bills are favored by 1.
I expect that line to be even by the time that game starts. But
42 points over under. Favored by 1.
Vegas knows what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's a tough game to call, man. It's basically a coin flip.
Okay,
it's a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
Tough game to call, man.
Yeah, I'll tell you what,
man.
I don't even know that I'm doing
There's another.
That.
So the problem is the other game that's actually really close.
Slip quietly into Gruden voice. I
tell
you
game
what, man.
That's really close is a game that nobody wants to hear about.
What?
That's the Bucks versus Titans.
Is that my game?
Well, that's the only other game that's close. It's a 2.5 points.
Yeah.
So the Titans are getting favored by 2.5 points. Nobody really wants to talk about that game.
Jameis Winston and Ryan Tannehill.
So maybe I'll do that one because I think that could give you a little tough. That could give you some tough. And that's actually local. So I'm going to give you Jets versus Jags.
Okay.
Jags are favored by 4.5.
The Jaguars?
41 points over under. I'm going to give you that game.
Okay.
Should I? Or should I give you the trap game? It's not projected to be close.
What? Don't say Bengals Rams. That's not a trap game.
No. I know what I'm giving you. Forget that. I'm giving you the game that is going to be, and I know who you're going to pick. I just know it. And there's a chance that it could be a trap game.
Oh, don't say
4:25 p.m. Browns versus Patriots.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not a trap game. It's a trash game.
Browns versus Patriots.
I'll take it.
Baker, Landry, Odell.
It won't take me long to think. Would you like the prediction now?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
This will be the first time they actually have to face a legit offense, as long as Baker can actually throw the ball.
Oh my God. That's gonna be an ugly game.
Okay. All right. Now I know who you're gonna pick. So I'm trapping you into a game where I think the Browns actually have a chance.
Okay.
The Browns are gonna win a game. They're gonna win a big game. Will it be? And the Patriots are gonna lose a game.
People, you don't go into the Lions' den and win. One does not simply go into the Lions' den and win. Okay.
You lock it up. You lock it up. You lock it up.
No, you lock it up. Oh, they're going to get killed.
All right. So that's pretty much it for there. And then is there anything else that we had to talk about?
No, but what we do need to talk
Did you just have a stroke?
I don't know. But what we do need to talk about is we need some ideas of something to do for next Monday's show, which will be our Halloween program.
Oh.
So we got to, should we do it? I mean, we've done Mount Rushmores of horror movies. We need something. We need some ideas here. Somebody throw us an idea. Throw some poop on the wall and let's see if it sticks. Just give us something. Give us an idea for next Monday's Halloween show. What should we do? It could be movie related. It could be sports related. I mean, obviously, don't worry. I'll dress up. You'll probably dress up. We'll dress up.
We'll get something going. Maybe get something going.
But beyond dressing up, I mean, let's have some fun here. Let's try and do something. Do something. He was doing his job. He was doing his job. There it is.
If Patriots fans
I've been getting them back.
Sucker Supremes.
Good job.
Not about how hard you can hit.
Oh
It's
boy.
about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
That doesn't make sense.
Getting them back.
Yeah.
A bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Yeah.
That's such a great. I love that GIF, whatever it is. Is it a soft G or a hard G? It's a bold strategy, Cotton. I use that frequently. My other one that I use so ridiculously frequently is the one from is the Deadpool from Cable, where he just where before Deadpool's dying and he looks up to Cable and he's like, and you, Deadpool, he's like, I want you to stop judging people by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And he just looks at him and he says, Jesus. It's such a great. I love it. It's just I was watching it last night again too, and it makes me laugh every time.
One of my favorites.
I don't know why.
It's one of my brother's favorites too. Is it something that's very obscure in the movie, in the first Avengers movie, where Captain America is in what is that ship called that they're on?
Ship.
That ship that floats through the air with the shield and everything.
Yeah.
And he's in there and he's like going through and Iron Man's like, you got to do this, you got to do that. And he's talking about, he's like, well, it's made out of some sort of like computers or something like that. And he's like, well, you're not wrong. I love that when Tony Stark just says, well, you're not wrong. Like, I love when he's in there. He's like, it looks like some sort of like computer or something.
My favorite Tony Stark moment was in Endgame when Cap makes the great speech before they all go into the quantum realm, and there's no words. It's just the look on his face after Cap finishes making the speech. It's the best look. Like Robert Downey Jr. is so gifted he doesn't even have to say words. It's the perfect look. It's this look of
I'm just a dude looking at another dude.
But it's a look that says, like, it has so many emotions. It says, 1, you're super hokey. 2, I absolutely love you and your optimism. And 3, I really admire you. Like there's like multiple emotions in just this one look that he gives them after the speech. And you know what I'm talking about. You know the scene I'm talking about, right?
I'm not sure exactly what.
Where he's, where Captain America gives the, 5 years ago we lost, all of us, and we're gonna, and we're gonna win. This is the fight of our lives, and we're gonna win. And the look that Tony gives him is just so perfect. Just go to YouTube and watch the speech, and then just look at the look that Tony shoots him. It's just
Perfect. I think I know what you're talking about.
It's so perfect. It's such a beautiful expression. It just says it says everything. Yeah. It really kind of encapsulated the Tony Stark character very well too.
Well, that's who he is. He played that character perfectly.
There were some moments too, like because I was watching Far From Home the other day, and there's just some right off the beginning when they start with the Whitney Houston, "I Will Always Love You" song, like, and they're doing the Tony, and I'm just like, no. And the girls just started laughing at me because I'm like,
it's too soon. It's too soon.
It was too soon. I can't believe he's gone still.
Yeah, I can't wait for a lot of these things, man. A lot of these things to come out. I'm so excited for the Batman movie that's going to be coming out.
And
Robert Pattinson. And
I'm getting very excited for Disney Plus, dude. We're only weeks away. We are weeks away. November 12th.
I'm going to be signing up ASAP. I didn't get that deal you got. I wish I did.
That was a hell of a deal. Is the Mandalorian going to be there right off the bat?
Pretty close, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
it might be right off the bat. If it did, I mean, they were talking about how that's going to be the most pirated TV show of all time because Disney Plus isn't in certain countries.
Oh yeah, so
and they don't have the rights there, so they were just going to kind of get the rights as they go, and people are going to pirate that like no tomorrow because they do not want to be left out of that. They want to be able to watch it as soon as possible.
Yeah,
that's why I want to.
Disney Plus is really not a big financial commitment, though. I mean, if you, I understand.
It's not about the. It's just if it's not offered in your country. That's
yes.
Like because
where's it not offered?
It's in a lot of countries.
Disney's like one of the most global brands.
You have to secure the rights to be able to do the streaming in that country, and
I would say that's probably only a matter of time, though. That will eventually happen.
Eventually, but it takes a long time.
Because I think the WWE Network had a similar issue. Like when they started, they were not available in quite a few countries, and it hurt their because right now they're at about 2 million subscribers strong, and they've held pretty steady at that. But they're at the time, like they weren't available in China, and I think China is like Asia is one of like WWE's biggest markets.
Yeah.
And Europe, wrestling is huge over there.
It's not getting easier to get into China.
No, that's
into China.
Oh, speaking of Tony Stark, we've come to the end of our program, and as you know, part of the journey is the end. So,
didn't I play the music already? I don't even know if I did.
I don't think so. No, I don't. There was no music.
All right, so there you go.
That's the outro.
There you go.
I already did it. I already did it. I'm not going to say it twice.
Well, you don't have to.
Part of the journey is the end.
But thank you guys for watching this. Be sure to comment and let us know what you guys want us to do for Halloween. If there's something that you want to, have us talk about. It could be anything. We could do another Mount Rushmore. We could do worst horror films of all time.
That's not a bad idea.
We could do that. We could do funniest spoofs of horror movies of all time.
That's not a bad idea.
As well.
I like that. I like that.
There's a lot of things that you can do.
I like that better than worst because I don't want to research movies or even talk about movies that suck.
Are there movies like Christmas movies where they're not really Halloween movies, but they're based that Halloween is in it? So therefore, could you call it a Halloween movie? Like Die Hard?
Almost like Goosebumps, right? Because Goosebumps, I think, technically takes place at Halloween, but it's not really. I don't think it's specifically a Halloween movie.
Yeah, it's a tough one. That's a tough one.
That is tough.
I don't know.
That might require a little too much research.
We could do we could do best horror characters, but I think we did something similar to that.
Oh no, we did that. I think we've done movies and characters. I think we have.
It's a tough one. Action adventure horror films?
I was gonna say like maybe like quotes, maybe horror movie quotes or something. If we want to really, that actually would be kind of cool because I could think of. I have some off the top of my head.
Maybe we could just do some horror movie quotes. I don't know because I'm doing a top 4. I don't even know if I have top 4. I mean, I know I have.
I got a couple.
Probably 2.
I got a couple for sure.
We could do horror movies that don't have anything to do with Halloween.
Oh, that's sure. Well, like any of the Friday the 13th movies are not Halloween or Nightmare. They're not Halloween.
But they're always released around Halloween. I don't know.
But those are by no means like Scream. I mean, see, that's the problem. I think some of my Mount Rushmore stuff from would there'd be some crossover. Because I know Scream was was on my Mount Rushmore, and it would certainly be on that one too. I feel like there'd be too much crossover there. You're right, because most horror movies are actually not specific to Halloween.
Right. But they all get released around Halloween.
Yeah. Some don't, and they should. Never understood that. Like that, I was telling my brother the other day that movie Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which I semi-enjoyed.
Yeah.
Why was that not released around Halloween? It was like early
September. A lot of stupid moves that are made.
Early September. I'm like...
Freaking Medea's Halloween was released around Halloween, and that movie was just like not scary at all, but it's just kind of funny. Like, yeah, there's certain movies that need to be released around Halloween. Need to be released closer to Halloween.
A Mount Rushmore of horror movie spoofs wouldn't be bad because there's a lot of material there. There's a lot of material. So,
I mean, I know there's the scary movies.
There's the scary movies. There's the Medeas.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually it off the top of my head. So maybe there's not a lot of material. No, there's more. There's Yeah, I'm struggling here.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Are we off the air yet?
Yeah. All right. That's pretty much it. You can find us on Twitter at Shane and Bryman. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman. Find me on Twitter at Einhornusfinkel.
Find me on Twitter at _Bry_man.
And we will be back on Friday with more talk of NFL, MLB, all that kind of fun stuff. In the meantime,
Hey,
peace out.
you just landed? How did he just land? Were we on that long?
Wow.
I thought he was on the tarmac. Oh,
Is it Tuesday?
Holy crap. I haven't gotten any work done. I'm in so much trouble. Stay classy, Planet Globe.
Peace out. Thank you.
We gone.
See you later, Clint.
Bye.
Bye.